Well, hello, everyone. This is Amber Town-Guillen, your terrific Tuesday Million Dollar Messenger, calling you from the greater Kansas City area. And we are approaching Christmas. It's so exciting. Next Tuesday will be Christmas Day. So I love this time of year. I love the time with family. I love the time with the community. I love it all. I love presents. I love presents. And I love presents. But I also love celebrating this and remembering the reason for the season and slowing down and keeping your priorities in alignment so that you're not so busy that you miss spending precious time with your kids, spending time with your family, and just remembering the reason for the season, remembering that Christ's birth is why we're celebrating. So either way, I wanted to get into this today. I've been hot on some YouTube listening and some different reading, and I've got a collaboration of stuff I want to give you today. So the quote I want to start with that has been rocking my world is by a pastor named Steven Furtick. I'm sure many of you guys listen to him, but it says, "You can have a good heart, but bad habits, and never walk in God's call on your life." You can have a good heart, but bad habits, and never walk in God's call on your life. You know, it's been said, and it'll be said many, many times over, that there's 3 areas that you will battle as you build your business and as you build good habits that will bring success or failure in Mary Kay. It really is. It is your attitude management, which I probably say I will work on 90% of the time on this call, your money management, or your time management. Now, I do not believe time can actually be managed because you can't manage something that you're not in control of. And so time will go away as you listen to this call. Time will go away, but you can have time priorities. And so I always look at, okay, it's not time management because I don't need to manage my time better. I need to make sure my priorities are better and that I am clear on my yeses and I'm clear on my nos. And so look at, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put yourself on either of those levels? What's your attitude management? You know, are you invested in yourself on a regular basis? Are you quick to self-coach when maybe you've had a disappointment? Or does it make weeks and months before you reach out or get back on the loop of the emotional cycle again? Money management, where are you on that? I remember back in the day when I probably would have been a 3 or 4 on understanding money management. And I personally invested in training. I personally invested in books on wealth management, wealth cycle, wealth blueprint, and understanding that what I think about money will strictly determine how much money I earn in my lifetime. And so I had to get real with what my blueprint was on money so that I could create an atmosphere in a home that would generate wealth. Not just money, but wealth that could be then passed on and given to ministries or even from generations to generation. So where, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm horrible with money management and 10 being I got this one, Amber, and time priorities. Let's just call it time priorities. Where are you on time priorities? Now, this one might be one that you struggle the most with. On a scale of 1 to 10, you might look and say and take a hard look at it and think, goodness gracious, I put everybody else's things in front of my own. And that's something to consider because if you're going to hit your goals, you have to make your goals a priority on your schedule. And so with that being said, I want to read to you nugget number 13. I thought this was a great nugget to share with you guys out of An Enemy Called Average. It says, the title is Good Intentions Aren't Good Enough. You can't test your destiny cautiously. Don't play for safety. It's the most dangerous thing in the world, said Hugh Walpole. The key is this, to forfeit the safety of what we are for what we could become. Unless you do something beyond what you have already done, you will never grow. A definition of mediocrity, best of the worst and worst of the best. Potential means you haven't done your best yet. Good intentions are like checks that men try to draw from a bank and where they do not have an account. Every mediocre person has good intentions. It's been said that the biggest enemy of great is good. Don't accept good enough as good enough. Tolerating mediocrity in others makes you more mediocre. Only an average person is always at his best. A man can't make a place for himself in the sun if he keeps taking refuge under the family tree. Go. Launch out. People who never do any more than they get paid for never get paid for more than they do, says Elbert Hubbard. Do more. An overcautious person burns bridges of opportunity before he gets to them. Most of the people who sit around and wait for the harvest haven't planted anything. The average man doesn't want much and usually gets even less. One action is more valuable than 1,000 good intentions. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And that was by Helen Keller. You know, I grew up, as we grew up, myself in Washington, we grew up on the western side of the mountains in Washington, but yet we had a cabin that we would go to almost every weekend as I was growing up in eastern Washington, until my brothers and I started competing heavily in sports. And so we would go over. I grew up since I was a little girl. My parents finished that cabin when my mom was pregnant with me. And so we grew up and we'd go snowmobiling and we had quads over there. We had friends over there and we had a great time and a lot of great memories. One of the things that hung on a wall that my dad now has it down in his man cave was a sign. It was was a ceramic sign that my mom, I believe, made in ceramics before she got in Mary Kay. Can we give a whoop whoop to Mary Kay? And it said, "He who cuts his own wood is twice warmed." He who cuts his own wood is twice warmed. So you think about it. The wood that would go in the fireplace is going to warm you. And the generation of energy through your body from cutting that wood is going to warm you. He who cuts his own wood is twice warmed. Well, when I was a kid, I didn't much understand that. But as I become an adult, I understand that potential is almost a slap in the face when someone says, "Oh, she has so much potential." And I did have this weird dream last night that I have got to say was very weird, is that I was walking around in my red jacket. You guys, I don't even own my red jacket anymore. I became a sales director in 2000, so it's been quite a long time since I've had that around. And somebody said, "Oh, the potential." I remember that. I didn't hear anything else, but "oh, the potential." And I was like, ugh, I don't want to live a life that was, wow, she had so much potential. I want to live a life fully exhausting my talents, where I slide into my grave and they're playing Another One Bites the Dust, because I want to use the gifts that God's given me. And if you have a good heart but bad habits, you can potentially not walk in the call in your life. And that right there has been a checkup from the neck up for the last 2 weeks, because I feel like, okay, God, am I operating in my strengths? Am I doing the things I know to do, or am I just doing busy things? And so I've been very on purpose in examining my activity and where I'm spending my time, and look at what is your ultimate goal, and what is the one thing that if you focus on that one thing, it would drive the rest of the results. What is that one thing? And I do believe we have a 3-strand cord at Mary Kay, as I kind of joke, is that if you don't have enough leads, you need to get leads. You need to create a lead funnel. If you then have your lead funnel going, your next strand on that cord is your bookings. And then if you don't have enough bookings and you're not seeing enough faces, you need to make sure you're doing your calls every single day and creating a system in which you have set that you do day in, day out, day over. And then from seeing enough faces, are you sharing the career and building your team? So that my friends, is to me the focus that will drive everything in this business. Now, yes, will you need to learn money management? 100%. Will you continue to grow every single day? 100%. And understanding what your time priorities are is a discipline that we all need to develop that will help us be successful. But if you have a good heart and bad habits and could never potentially walk in the call in God's life, isn't that enough to scare you to realize, okay, where are my habits at? Are my habits generating the results I want in my life right now? Because the results you have in your life right now are nobody's fault but yours. You can't blame anybody else. You cannot play victim to anyone else but yourself, because you control your habits. You create your time priorities, and whether you let somebody else's emergency become your own, that is a choice. You have control of your own money and your attitude. So ladies, let's take an evaluation today and give ourselves a rate on our attitude on 1 to 10, on our money 1 to 10, money management, and our time priorities 1 to 10, but also our habits. What are your habits on a scale of 1 to 10? And if you look at yourself, okay, maybe you're a 7. Who do you consider a 10 in that category? And what do they do different that you could apply to your life? Okay? So, and I would encourage you to share your ratings with your sales director or your senior sales director, because they can help kind of dialogue with you and discuss, like, you might think you're a 10 in a certain area, and maybe she will, give you a different perspective, that there's some room for growth. So either way, hopefully this is a blessing to you today. Hopefully this was something that challenged you just a bit to think a new thought. But either way, hopefully it was a good one. So I hope you have an amazing day. This is Amber Towngi, and your terrific Tuesday $1 Million Messenger signing off. Have an amazing Tuesday.